Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to the commercial food equipment repair industry. My name is Pat Finley. I'm a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group and a certified specialist trainer. Our goal is to shine a light on what we believe to be one of the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. We love the work we do, and we are glad you go listen to this podcast. This episode, we have Jennifer Manzo from HVACchicks. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, Rich and I have very special guest, Jennifer Manzo from HVACchicks. Jennifer, so what is going on, Jennifer?
Hey, guys. Not much. Hanging out with you guys tonight, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it was short notice. You know, I've been trying to get you on. I just haven't got the schedule made. I'm super terrible for schedule. I wish I could be like Adrian. I think Adrian's pretty much got his whole year booked out.
We do too.
Yeah, he does.
I can't do it. I can't
We
do it.
do too. But I will say, though, that like if one person doesn't show up, it really sucks because everybody else is already scheduled for their dates. So I'm going to have to like find somebody entirely new that's not booked for the next 6 months. So it sucks. We're booked through June. We're into July right now.
I've got a list of guys, and I did good. I had like a month and a half booked out, and then we had a couple we threw in there, and then now I'm just like, oh, I need to get back on that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're horrible about that.
It pays off, but at the same time, if like you're not expecting it, then it's like, hey, I'll just ask this person. That's kind of better. That's how we started out. I miss that.
Yeah, and yeah, so I'm gonna try to get away from that, get back to booking out. So
The amount of times we schedule on a Tuesday for our Wednesday show.
Well, it worked out this week because I didn't have any.
Pat will send out a text on Monday. So we don't have a guest this week, and then we won't answer him till Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, who do you want? What kind of person do you want? He's like, I don't care. Anybody.
Somebody who's
and
waiting.
I start DMing people like, this guy wants to come on.
Yeah, Ryan and I will be like we both have these random like pop-up episodes in our heads where we'll be like, oh, we got to get this guy on. So then we'll just message each other at like 2 a.m, like this guy for this day. But it works out. We get some pretty cool people. You guys do too, though. Like you guys have like interesting people. That's what I like about this show.
yeah, I try to keep it interesting, like because people make comments and they're like, man, it seems like it's like a rotation, like one person does and then they like go around. So I've been like trying to like not against anybody going on anybody's show whatsoever, but trying to like go after some other people and bring them back in later on, like a couple months later when it's not so fresh, they haven't hit the circuit. So
and for obvious reasons, I've been on this business owner kick lately of reaching out to different owners like, hey, you want to come on our show and talk? And then I just sit there, shut up and listen the whole time.
That is so cool. So like when we started Misfits, that's exactly what it was. Like I think one of our first two, hey Jay, one of our first two was HVACOTJ. He didn't have very many followers at all. No one had heard of him, but he had like killer content. We had him on. Like I want to get back to that too, because now we just have really heavy hitters that always want to be on, and we want to get them on, obviously. But I do miss like meeting new people too.
Yeah, I want to start doing like some little shorter episodes where like we just like break in like how to do a proper site surveys and stuff like that, and actually some more technical stuff, and then also do the longer episodes where we bring someone on, talk about how they got into the trades and their role in the trades and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's been a blast, man. We've had a lot of cool people on. One of my favorite ones was that chef a couple weeks ago. He was a chef.
Yes.
He came
I watched the clips of that after. That was so cool. And you guys can do that because you have a kitchen show.
Yeah, so that's a little different. We try to show the kitchen guys, but I want to highlight everybody. I have a lot of friends that are plumbers, HVAC guys, and I just want to show everybody off and let people know that you don't have to go to college to be successful. You can go to college and be successful, but you don't have to.
Absolutely true.
I'm not a college hater. I know Rich and Jason kind of like get a little perturbed on people when they kind of just like hate on college. But I mean, I'm in a place for it, but you don't have to do that as well.
Right.
Yeah. So look at me. I'm a perfect example, right? I actually got into HVAC with SkillCat for free online, like got my EPA. And then I went to college 2 years later to become an engineer. So like I didn't need to go to college. I went to college because I wanted to have more opportunity. But then once I got it, I decided that I didn't really want to like do engineering work. So I was like, maybe not. And now here I am like engineering for HVAC. So I don't really know what happened, but I had that opportunity because I did both, But then you have Val, who's been in the trade for 28 years. He has his associates in HVAC, and that's the extent of it. And he's one of the best techs I've ever met. So definitely don't need it.
Yeah,
hey,
Ryan,
guy.
Good nasty. We got all kinds of people in here. It's a good show. But yeah, So talk about SkillCat. So you want to tell everybody what SkillCat app is? And first off, I want to say that my son got his EPA through SkillCat, so I appreciate that.
That makes me happy.
You want to break down?
So SkillCat is a loaded question, but I'll try to squeeze it into a little itty bitty segment here. So SkillCat app is an app that started out as a startup 5 years ago. It is owned by the most incredible CEO ever, Rachir Shah. He's definitely one of my best friends, hands down. And I was one of their first students. And they are basically it's an app on your phone that is also a fully loaded HVAC and plumbing trade school. We're actually starting to get into things like oil and gas fields, like mining oil and gas, and then carpentry too. There's a couple of courses on there for that. It's basically a trades app. Eventually it'll be a lot of trades, roofing, all kinds of stuff. But right now you can download an app on your phone. You can take whatever courses you want. You can get your EPA 608 on there. It was free up until October of last year when we went paid, because it was that or shut down, and we help 10,000 people a year. So instead of shutting down, we went paid, and it's $10 a month. I do have a discount code. You guys, anybody can use code HVAChicks at checkout if you want to get a discount code. And then also, if you're one of my students through HVAChicks, then you have the discount code. There are scholarships we can offer if you can't pay for it. But also you get extra training on top so you get your SkillCat training, and then you also get on top of that killer trainings from Ty Brannaman, from Craig Migliaccio, from HVAC School. Who else do we have? We have Ryan Hughes. It's one of our sponsors for his little technical shorts. We use those a lot. We have so many. We have, I think it's like 14 killer heavy hitter sponsors. So
Nice.
Yeah, and HVAC simulator, we have that program, which is crazy hard to get. So we have that we can offer for free. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And then on top of SkillCat using their platform to automate HVAChicks as a partnership, I also work for them. I am their lead technical trainer. So I do these big trainings every 2 weeks for them. And I also train every Tuesday. I train their companies. So they have companies that come to them and say, hey, train all of my techs. So they'll go through SkillCat as well. At the same time, I assign them what they're working on. And then that week I do a whole reiteration class for whatever they learned on SkillCat live. So, and they also have a WhatsApp where they can like call and text me, which is pretty cool. And then they also get access to my tech support line, which everybody has access to. You guys, if you need tech support, do not call a place that's going to charge you $1 a minute. Like, just call us. I'll give Pat the number so he can post it in you guys' group. But yeah, it's free 24/7. Bunch of tech.
And in the episode notes, I will link to the SkillCat app and to your tech support information as well.
Awesome. So yeah, that's the gist of it. It's a trade school that I stumbled upon. I was actually looking for courses because I own a homeschool too. So I was looking for courses for my high schoolers to take VOC. And I found SkillCat on a whim and was just like, let me check this out, and ended up, boom, having my EPA. I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
So that's how I got it. When you were growing up, I don't imagine you wanted to be an HVAC person. What did you want to do when you were growing up? I mean, how did you? I mean, I guess we know how you ended up here now, but what did you want to do growing up?
So it's funny because I've been on so many podcasts and no one's ever asked me that. And I always ask that question because I always want to know that. So I actually wanted to join the Peace Corps, and I wanted to go and save as many human beings and animals as I possibly could. I was that kid that was always like I'll get, a human being run over to save a chickadee in the road. But that's just how I actually had like this huge fascination with Princess Diana, and I wanted to be just like her. So that was my thing when I was a kid.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Ryan says he has been charged $1 minutes since he was 13. I don't think he's talking about those types of numbers, Ryan.
He doesn't want you guys to know about the 1-900 numbers he's calling though.
Yeah.
Those aren't on the list.
So you mentioned that you do homeschooling. I see you post some stuff online. How many kids do you currently have enrolled, or do you teach? And what's that all about? I mean, what's that like?
Yeah, so I have 10 kids this year. It changes every year. I decide basically based on my schedule and based on my kids and the other kids that are enrolled, how many we're going to take for that year. This year we got our facility, so we were able to take more. Normally it's much less. So I also have 6 kids. I have 4 of them in my school. One's out of school already and one's a baby, obviously, so neither of them need it. But I have 4 of them enrolled right now. So what I basically did this year was take 1 or 2 kids that were around the same age as my kids, so they would all have socialization with, like-minded kids. And it worked out really, really well. But then this year, 2 of mine are graduating, and then I have the rest of them left behind next year. So I'll be taking 2 more next year. Basically, what happened is during COVID, so me and all of my daughters and my mother were all born with the same autoimmune disease. It's a genetic mutation. And so during COVID, my youngest and my oldest couldn't be in public school. They had to stay home. So I was like, I'm already doing this. Like, I might as well just do it, right? So I did. I pulled them to homeschool. My brother-in-law pulled a couple of his to homeschool as well, and I taught them. And I just did this in like my little hallway in my house, and it worked out really well. They did great. And then the following year, my youngest really wanted a friend, so I took a couple of younger kids, and it's just grown since I started in 2019, the end of 2019. So it's grown super big since then. We have our own like lockers and our own school now.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I understand the whole autoimmune disease. My son has one. It's my youngest.
Yeah.
It can be challenging, and it seems like every time he turns around, it's something else is showing its symptom.
Yeah.
It
It's
sucks.
like so random too.
Yeah, he'll be fine one day, and the next day I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "Oh, I don't feel good." And he's like, a big patch of ice pops up. Something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, this is
My oldest just faints. Like they're calling it syncope, which just means fainting, but she just faints. Everyone's like, oh, it's just the autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife had that when we were in high school.
Yeah. That's how she's 17. It's like just messing with her now, and they said that she'll probably grow out of it eventually. I'm like, okay. Terrifying though.
my 18. He sounds like he's like 60 years old. He gets up and all his joints just pop, and I'm like, oh man. I know. And I'm like, I'm heartbroken.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, he stays active. He stays working out and stuff, and he wants to be a plumber. So I'm excited to see what he does. Hopefully, he gets smart and he starts his own business. He don't have to work past 30, probably. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Hoping anyway.
Dude, now is the time. These younger techs, like I keep just dragging like handfuls of techs into this trade because right now there is so much HVAC work. It's not even funny. I mean, we're all slow like at this very moment, and we all have these times during the year that everybody is just slow, like coast to coast. But then once it picks up, there is so much work we can't handle it. And I'm talking, there's an HVAC company on every corner right now, and we still can't handle all the work. So like I'm just dragging them in, like, stay in, get a really good education. You can get a really good education for free now with programs like mine and others. And just YouTube alone, right? Like you can watch YouTube. If you can watch YouTube for 2 hours a day, you can be a good technician. So like I just tell them all the time, like, come in, work for somebody for a little while, get your education, then own your own business. You, like you said, retire at 30, sell your company, whatever. Like they don't know how good they got it.
So
sure.
what are you doing to get them in? Because that's one of our things is, trying to appeal to the younger generation and get younger people into this trade and any trade really. So what is it that you're doing that's being able to pull them in besides threatening them?
So there's a lot of things. Obviously it takes several channels. So I also am spoiled in that aspect because remember I have SkillCat and SkillCat offers EPAs. So I'm able to have access to very, very young techs that are 17, 18 years old that are just looking to find out what they're going to do with their lives. And I'm able to talk them into it. And then they take their EPA right there from their couch. So they're fine with it. But then that's my biggest avenue for sure. And then they come to my trainings, like Rich's wife comes to my training, Cece, and they come just like Cece does. And then, having that sense of community just really keeps them in. It's just, they're not alone. They have so many avenues to talk to other people about it and get help. So they stay. And then the other thing is podcasts. And I know you guys probably don't know this at this moment. Maybe Pat does because he watches the analytics, I'm sure. But HVAC podcasts, specifically in trade podcasts, even there's one in roofing that's called like Be Honest or Get the Fuck Out, something like that. That's what it's called. But these like newer podcasts like ours are getting tons of traction with like the 17 to 19-year-old crowd. I don't really know why, other than now they're finally talking about trades in schools, which they weren't doing before. But since we have these shortages, it's all, trade. And also my state ended up giving every kid free college for like the next 5 years. So any 18-year-old, 17 or 18-year-old that wants to go to community college can, and our community college offers HVAC. So I got lucky there too. So there are some avenues. The other thing, like if you want to, you can call schools and you can put on a training. You can call them and just say, I want to come and teach, and they will let you. Like a lot of people don't realize that,
Mhm.
but you can. I haven't done it yet because I teach a whole homeschool, but lots of people do it here.
That's my problem is I want to get into like the community colleges, these schools on career days and stuff like that.
Yes.
But we're down on technicians. I'm too valuable to get
They're not
off
gonna give you a day off.
afternoon or yeah, it's so weird. It sucks, but you know,
But see, the thing is, you're too valuable in the moment, but for the long term play, you
Yes.
know, when 20 years from now, when you're not running calls anymore and they don't have anybody, that's where your value would have been if they let you out in the colleges and the
Into the
high
world.
schools
Yeah.
doing that stuff.
exactly.
Not to mention the value you would bring in technicians.
Hmm.
I'm over the thought of trying to hire experienced technicians. I'm
You
I'm
can't.
on that.
It's impossible.
I think we need to get these young people 18, 19, 20, 25 years old that maybe went to college and then, you know, they get find a home for them or they don't want to go to college and
Yeah.
find the guys that are willing to learn and pour into them and build them up. And you're going to create guys that or technicians that want to go out there and want to do better. I mean, I always use my son for an example because he's 21 years old. And if I said the number he was making right now, a lot of people would be they'd freak out if they see how much money he's making.
Yeah, mine too. Mine's
I'm sure,
23 and
yeah.
the same. It works for me.
Absolutely stupid. But you know what? I mean, people are like, well, you know, he's your son. I'm like, well, he's not scared to ask me questions. I said, if
That
someone else,
doesn't stop me from not paying him a lot if he doesn't deserve a lot.
Right.
I want to go after young guys, young men and women. I don't want to go after the old grouchy guys that have bad habits. That you know, we've had a couple guys where they were older, and not against anybody older, but you know, they said they'd get
More
on the.
experienced.
They said they'd get on the roof, they'd climb a ladder, and then when they get here, oh, I'm not climbing the ladder anymore. I'm not doing
Yep.
that. I can't do it, so I'm not climbing. I'm like, you said
Stipulations.
like you said that in the interview that you do this, and now you're saying you won't do this. I'm like, this doesn't add up.
That's how it works because you can't fire them for not doing it. So it's just, catch 22. So what I have found is that, yeah, like you said, so experienced techs, even if you are lucky enough to find one that wants to leave where they're at and hasn't already started their own business, then you're dealing with someone who is set in their ways and who is unteachable and someone who is not ever going to show you any value other than what they've already decided they're worth. They're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to train them. They're going to opt out of trainings. And this is statistics. This is not just something I'm coming up with. Like, this is actually statistic. Techs who have been in the field for 5 to 10 years, they say, are 60% less likely to volunteer for training. I don't find that in HVAChicks. In HVAChicks, we have 40% of my students, of my 318 students, 40% of them have been in the field for over 5 years. So what it takes is the right tech, first of all. And the chances that you're going to be the 1 in a million business that finds a bunch of these right techs is very, very small. Grabbing these little guys, these young girls, especially girls, train them up exactly how they should be trained. Train them to be the experienced techs. And then the only way they're going to leave you is to start their own business. And then you can sub them out anyway. So, boom. He is one cool cat. No, like,
I do what I can, yeah.
Like my regulators video today,
Mhm.
people were just like tagging Rich, and I was like, Rich is that cool that he gets tagged in more MD videos. Like, must be nice. What a G.
I've been kind of chill on the internet, hit or miss. I've had a pretty busy day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a big one for me too. I did some plumbing this morning, which I don't do. just a thing. So I have a good buddy that owns a restoration business and he needed some help. So we went and did that. And then after that, I went and took a material list and got prepped for the steam boiler that blew up last week. It was pretty cool. I posted a video of it.
So
Yeah, so
uh,
we're replacing it.
you and Val own your own business, right? How long have you guys
Yeah.
been in business?
So we've actually been in business for 10 years. Val has been in business, but he took a break when I came into the trade so that we could both work for someone else while he trained me. And it worked out really, really well for about a year. And then it didn't work out anymore for so many reasons. We'd be here all night. But yeah, so we ended up going back out on our own. Val's business was still alive the whole time. He was just not personally working there during the day. He was doing like nights and weekends. And then when I came into the trade and got to where I was at a year later, we decided we could do it on our own. And we've been that way for 5 years, roughly. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And now our son works for us. Our son is 23. He was a career tower climber. He was a tower repairman for like internet towers. So he traveled the country and he had the last 3 years just like making killer bank and doing awesome work. And then he came home for a couple of months and his uncle he was working for said there was no work and his girlfriend got pregnant. So I'm going to be a Nona in June. So now he works for us and he loves HVAC. He's going through SkillCat and HVAChicks as we speak and working in the field too. So it's pretty awesome.
Sweet.
That's cool. So we've covered SkillCat. We've covered you guys owning your own construction business.
I know it's a lot.
Let's talk about the podcast. You and Ryan have a show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's dive into it. How'd this come about?
So funny story actually, because I hear a lot that it seems like Ryan and I have known each other our whole lives, and that's how I feel inside for sure. Ryan too, I'm sure. But actually, we started out because Ryan really wanted to start this podcast. So he didn't know me. He had followed me or whatever recently, very recently before he reached out to me. And he just on a whim was like, hey, do you want to do this like with me? It would be your show and my show, not just mine, like whatever. And I was like, yeah, out the gate. I was like, let's do it because Ryan's a really cool guy. And I had been following him for a very long time, Mr. Hughes man. So then Kraus was supposed to be in it with us too, Jake Kraus, and he ended up not showing up the first night. And I don't know, it was for the best. Ryan and I have killer chemistry and we get along super well. And he's definitely become my brother in a big, big way.
So Brian is kind of responsible for all this stuff I'm doing. So I had done a YouTube live or nothing, and Ryan had me on when he used to do the Saturday Hangouts or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half, and like next thing you know, I'm talking about doing a podcast and YouTube and all that other stuff. So Brian really is responsible for getting me involved and breaking the ice with all this stuff.
That's amazing. See, he's so good at stuff like that, but he's so behind the scenes and that's where he wants to stay. And I'm like always dragging him out like a little bit more. But I think our show works and we get along really, really well because we're like polar opposites in personality, but we're also like both of us have like these huge hearts and we just want to like help everybody and whatever. But like we are so opposite that it makes for a funny show.
How many
It's
episodes?
definitely one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
The first time I turned it on, I was like, yo, these are my people. Like I heard y'all talking. I'm like, these are my people. I love that show.
There's a lot
Definitely. That's what it's become. Like a lot of my students watch it. A lot of like random older techs watch it and just have become like family with us. Like you guys know what it's like. It's just once you get your regulars, it's like there's no turning back.
Oh
like,
yeah,
we could do 10 episodes of nothing if we had to.
Little inside jokes and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And they come over here and like harass my guests about Crocs and stuff. I'm like,
yeah, I'm actually, Ryan brought up like getting a sponsorship from Crocs last week. And I think that I'm going to actually send like a formal letter to them and be like, you should probably watch our content. If you're concerned about how much you'll be brought up, you won't be anymore.
funny.
So funny. I got one yesterday on Instagram. Someone sent me one and it was a meme of like the country crock butter. And it was like a croc that was a crocodile. Oh my God, I died. Like all I could think of was like your mom's like butter that's not butter, it's spaghetti.
Somehow I got stuck in some weird loop of Crocs and like there's like a Croc of the day page and it's like a different Croc they've like made and like they put like all kinds of stuff on them. And I was tagging you and Brian in it for the longest time. And
I was dying.
Eventually it worked its way off my feed, so I don't see it anymore. But
it has gone so far that John Ellis's wife Nita tagged me in a picture that she like took and posted, and it was her like trying on these high-heeled Crocs. And like it's just gone way too deep at this point. I don't even know what happened, honestly.
There's no turning back now.
Yeah, no, it's a thing now. So I do have one thing I want to talk about, if you guys don't mind me using your platform for good.
Hey, do what you got to do.
Okay, so this is like shameless plug alert, but it is important. So what HVAChicks does, one of the things we do is resource location and like emergency help for women that are HVAC techs and run into a problem. So we don't have people don't like to ask for help, right? They know it's there, but we don't have a lot of people that actually come to us for this. So this is the first time that it's been a dire situation or like an actual immediate emergency. And I had somebody reach out in the group. I know those of you who are in the group, I think both of you are in the group, might have seen her post, but she posted in the group asking for some help after she removed herself from a DV situation, her and her daughter. And when she removed herself from the DV situation, she realized that I won't get into it because there are people who live in that, town that could be watching. But what I will say is that she realized that the domestic violence shelters were not viable at the time. And they basically told her she's on the street. So it's either go back to the violent situation she was in for familiarity and for safety, in some way, roof over your head at least, or stay on your friend's couch for a couple of days and hope to God that something will present itself. So she reached out to us, which is huge and it's hard. And I am doing everything in my power that I can to help her. We're looking for, in her particular area, there aren't any boarding houses. I don't know if you guys have boarding houses, but here we have these like apartment buildings that instead of apartments, there's rooms to let. So they don't have that there, which sucks because they're very cheap. So what we're doing right now is HVAChicks is raising money to get her a hotel room that is like on a weekly scale for a couple of weeks until we can get her like an actual room to rent that will be more like long-term leased. We got her a job. So she lost her job as a tech. This is so crazy too. She was already working as a tech and going to school. So last night, she was headed to her last night of school where she was being granted her HVAC certificates, and she was on the bus talking to me. Like, that's how dedicated this woman is to what she does and to supporting her kid. So anybody who is willing to help themselves, I'm willing to help them. So I just wanted to put it out there on you guys' show too, and it'll be out on mine and everybody else's too very soon. It just started today. But there is a GoFundMe that is in HVAChicks Coalition group and also on my personal page, Instagram, LinkedIn, it's everywhere. And basically what we're going to do is when we reach the goal, it's only $1,000 because we're trying to get 2 weeks and a week is $500. So if we can get 2 weeks, she'll be working. We got her a job. So she has a remote position. She can still get her kid to school, all that. She'll still be in the HVAC field. And that's amazing until she gets on her feet. But what we'll be doing is we'll be delegating the funds. We'll be calling the hotel, paying, the bill and whatever. And then any donations that come in past the goal, we're going to put towards things that they need to furnish their room that they're going to get. So
How much have you got so far?
What was that?
How much have you raised so far?
So I just posted it this morning and already the last time I looked before I came in, it was $280, which is pretty incredible. So there's 10 donations.
So I'm gonna commit to $100 right now. So let's get some other people in the audience. Let's throw some money from our people watching right now too.
I've got 100 too. So.
Guys.
So.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's watching. So thank you guys from all three of us.
Thank you for doing what you
entire HVAChicks Coalition. This is incredible, and this is what this community does. And this is what I was telling her. She didn't want me to post a GoFundMe. She was like, "I'm not going to take cash, so raise what you want, but I'm not taking it." And I was like, "Well, just put it toward what you need to get you somewhere for right now." And she agreed to that. But I told her, I said, "You don't understand. Like, they want to help. It's not." It's not a situation where it's like other communities where it's just people who say they want to help. Like these people, we help each other and other people every day in such a fierce, like obligated way. And I can't explain it. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to explain this like online HVAC community to other people outside of it, but it's impossible to explain. Like
it's a cult.
It's a family.
I just call it a cult.
Yes. Yeah, and our leader is that dirty Lennox in that attic.
So
that's the common cause.
I'm really glad you brought that up, and
thank you guys. Thank you just for even letting me say it. Like a lot of people don't want that stuff on their show. I totally get it, and this is like a one-time deal, but this is what we do. And all those people that are in the group, you guys are both in the group, and it's not a group that like posts funny memes or has a ton of technical stuff. So like you guys joined because you're family, and that's awesome. So thank you guys.
The link posted in your the HVACchicks Coalition page.
It is, yes. And it's also posted on all of my personal pages. So anybody that's not in the group, and if you're not in the group and you want to be part of an awesome community, so the HVAChicks Coalition page is basically just a network to help each other with anything you might need. So there's like the tech support number is constantly posted in there, and like you know, wins. So like if you had a win that you're proud of, you post it in there, and everybody's just all over you. If I catch, you know, wind of a win, I post it in there for you. And it's just an awesome place to get like a lot of encouragement, a lot of like really strong pushing and challenging, and you know, whatever you're looking for in this trade, you can get in that group. So if you're not in it, you should definitely go join it just to have some support.
I posted the link in the comments. You may have to copy and paste it, but there it is. And
Thank you.
I will be donating as soon as we get off the air here. So
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
what all does
Yeah,
the
so that's what we do. And we do like everything that we do is free. So this is where this is where I run into a problem, because everything that I do is free, all of the training, everything, but we're not nonprofited either. We are just a free coalition that, because I run it myself, I've never felt the need to business it, right? So now I'm running into this problem because I need to hire. I have 318 students I'm teaching by myself, not to mention SkillCat's 10,000. So, and I'm the only trainer for SkillCat as well. So like I desperately need an assistant, and I need trainers. I need like all these things to keep it going. And I'm like,
Hey,
how am I
my
gonna pay
bad.
for
Not to cut you off, but you're at 400 now. I just threw my 100 on there, and it
Oh
says that
my
you've
God.
reached
Thank
400 so far.
thank you so much. You don't even know what that means. This like the situation she's in is just like I asked her today, are you willing to relocate? Because I will come and get you. Like I'll bring
Yeah.
you here. She is, I will say she's in Washington State and I'm in Maine. So
Mm.
literally two ends of the country. She was like, I don't know if we could make it that far, man. Like,
uh,
but yeah, that's how much I feel about this one.
that's
So
cool.
thank you guys.
I
This is
knew a little bit about you helping some stuff like this, but I didn't realize the full extent of it. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
It's really awesome, and I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to share anything you put out about that. It's
I really appreciate that.
And
made
do
a
you
difference.
still do that HVAC and recovery thing? Is that still going, or
Yeah, it is. So Dirk
so?
Nauman is the owner and operator of HVAC and Recovery. So what it is a um, it's a coalition is what it is. I guess it's not called that, but that's what it is. And it's basically Dirk's story. If you guys don't know Dirk of HVAC Simulator, he is an incredible human being. You should go look him up. But he was in prison for like a really long time, 20 years ago. And he was addicted to drugs and alcohol and just about everything under the sun. In prison, he got his HVAC licenses. Like he studied the books in his prison cell to graduate, which
Nice.
is absolutely like fierce, right? So then he gets out, he gets into the field, and now he's like such a killer. He's one of our tech support gurus, actually. He's one of our specialists. He's a carrier specialist. So he's amazing. But he also started the nonprofit, which is an actual nonprofit, and it is called HVAC and Recovery. So what it does is basically if an HVAC technician or anybody in the HVAC field comes to us at HVAC Recovery and says, I need help. I need to go to rehab. I need to detox, whatever it might be. We will pay to send them. Dirk personally goes to them wherever they are and personally boards the plane with them, gets them to recovery, and then covers wages for up to 3 months for his family while he's gone
Wow.
so that they won't suffer for him getting help, which is just, it gives me chills every time I see it. It really does. My family is riddled with addiction. I'm raising 2 kids that are my sisters because of addiction. And it's a pretty close cause to my heart. So I am not actually working for them. However, I am a board member. So
Okay.
if anybody needs any info about it ever, I'm the one to come to. But as far as like the nitty gritty, that's all Dirk. He does it by himself. So it's pretty
Sweet.
great.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm just over here doing it. I'm sorry.
I knew you were gonna do it. I was like, he's not gonna wait until after.
No, I can't wait. My phone. I'll take a couple minutes, but let's see.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a couple of other things you guys want to hear.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
So I went to the symposium, the HVAC symposium in the HVAC school symposium in Florida. And I was on the women's panel with Rachel Kaiser and a girl named Sophie, a girl named Kim, and Jamie. And it was just awesome. It was a bunch of fierce HVAC ladies all on the stage. And our entire audience was predominantly male. I think there were like 3 girls in the audience. And the males were so touched that I have been hearing about this for like months and months and months. They were taking pictures. I mean, it was awesome. They were just like asking questions and how can they be more supportive? How can they say the right thing? All these things. So it went absolutely great. It's like the talk of the symposium. So after the symposium, I was asked to write for HVAC school, which is pretty huge for me because I'm a writer. It's what I love to write. I've always been a writer. I have a bunch of blogs that I do on SkillCat, but that's been like the only platform I've really had. So this is awesome. I'm doing tech tips for them. So I have a couple of them out already. I'm doing one right now on the steam boiler install. That'll be out in a couple of weeks probably. But yeah, so I'm writing for them, which has been a trip. I love it. And then I'm also writing for HVAC Tactical Magazine. So that one's pretty big for me too. Ben reached out and asked me to do that.
Supposed to be doing that. I just can't find time to finish it.
Poor Pat. Pat is just like, all I can picture when I think of Pat's life is just all these things like flying in and like hitting you and like bouncing off. And you're like, whatever, I'm done.
ADHD is nuts. That's all I got to say. ADHD is nuts. And I don't know how you do everything you do.
I don't know. I don't know. And I say all the time, I don't know either. What my like day looks like is me running around like you would like people can't even call me because like if they call me, I'm like doing 7 things. I'll try to talk to them. It's so bad. Like just today alone, I've done all this stuff for HVAChicks. I've written an entire training. I went and did a plumbing job. I went and did the steam boiler job. I picked up my daughter, dropped my other one off at work, came back and made dinner. And then I'm here talking to you guys. And after this, my baby is asleep. So I will be going out there and like doing my next training for Tuesday and writing on the steam boiler article. So like, it's not any like planned out successful venture. It's just me doing a bunch of shit all the time.
You got to take advantage of when she's sleeping because that one, boy.
God. She's an animal. She started walking. So we're just effed, at this point.
Strong-willed.
Yeah, my entire office, and you guys have seen the videos of my office. Not really an office. It's more like 4 warehouses smashed together. Mm-hmm. So all of it's concrete and she's walking now. So like she'll take like 5 steps and like fall and I'm like having a heart attack and she'll stand up and like giggle about it. And then like when we get home at night, I'll like take off her pants and her knees are like dirty. And I'm like, man, I don't even know what kind of wild child you are, but like, okay, I'll take it. She's so crazy. She really is. They say that the last one's the craziest and she's my last out of 6. So
no, my middle one's a crazy one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that too. Yeah, my middle one is crazy too. I have 3 17-year-olds, and then I have one of them's about to be 8. Well, 2 of them are about to be 18, and then I have a 23-year-old, and then I have a 10-year-old, and then I have a baby. So it's just like
sounds like a load of fun.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know what I was thinking this time, and I'm like, yeah, no. I sent Val right to the snip. I mean, like day of. Never again. No, thank you. And I'm about to be a grandma. So like my 1-year-old baby is going to have a baby niece.
That's the way my family is. I came from a huge Irish family.
Yeah.
My dad was like one of 17. And I've got cousins that are older than my youngest uncle.
Yeah, that's literally how it is here too. Like, so my younger sister, my dad like thought he needed to populate the world all on his own. When he read the Bible, he thought he was only talking to him, So, so my baby sister, I have 7 brothers on that side, and then 2 sisters, and then here comes this baby. When I was 22, he had a baby. So I have like this little sister that's just like 12 years old.
Ryan is asking if this is Jennifer's new podcast.
I might stay here, Ryan. It's pretty comfy. And Jason's out, so like, I mean, Jason, you better come get your boys before I end up on the show for good. There you go, Pat.
Back one day, he'll be back. He got some changes, and he wants to commit 100% to it. So I mean, I can respect that. Selfishly, I don't like it, but I can respect that. So I'm excited for him. I'm hoping it's everything he dreamed of and more. So,
and no matter what happens, he's stuck in the group chat unless he changes his number.
Avoiding that
because he avoids us for a couple of days. Like today, he was active for a little bit, but most days he was like just ignores us.
I mean, he's the official Commercial Kitchen Chronicles HR department, so Yeah, we kind of need him.
Well, don't need that anymore.
Drinking because then he's terrible. He gets
He's a terrible HR department. You guys really messed up on that one.
Unless he's pretty calm, cool, and collective. Like there's somebody that drives me absolutely nuts. I want to just go off on, and like he just keeps stopping. He's like
just in time.
He's walking through like how to unfollow this person so I don't see their. Like, no.
Yeah.
I just go look for it if it didn't pop up in my feed. I was like, I was like, I might as well just let it pop up naturally because if not, I'd go look for it and that person would know I'm looking for it.
Yes. I'm literally
that guy's been getting on me and Pat's nerves. I took a screenshot of one of this guy's posts and I said, all right, Pat, you hold his hands behind his back and I'm gonna hit him.
I can see it. I can definitely see it. I will say that like anytime I have like any little bit of a petty Betty moment and I like make a post, it's always Rich to the rescue. Rich is like, fuck them.
More or less, yeah.
But in a much more professional manner.
So
that's the good thing about Rich.
Yeah. I do want to bring up your tactical award. So we are both alumni.
Sorry, my baby was calling.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. We're both among the OGs, I guess, now at this point.
Yeah, that was
I was excited to get a tactical award so that I can be the one to give it away next year. And I know that's weird, but like I wanted it so bad and everybody knows I wanted it. I mean, I was very vocal about wanting it, right? And then I got it and I was like, this doesn't feel right. So I don't know.
You could be like me because I was like, I don't know how I won mine. Like I was like in amazement that I was even nominated because he's like, hey, he's like, you going to tactical awards? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you're nominated. I was like, what? No. I was like, I didn't think I was that cool, you know. And I'm like, what I get nominated for, I can't tell you. I was like, okay.
I hate that.
I was like, okay. He's like, how you spell your name? How you want your name? And I was like, okay. I thought maybe just for my thing lanyard, maybe I messed it up. Then I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's Jamie, and it's HVAC 562, I think. And then I see a picture of the ice machine. I was like, holy shit, that's Butler University ice machine. Like
that's
me.
Mine.
And then the best part was like the day before I was hanging out with Chris Stevens, HVACR videos. I was hanging out with him. We went to dinner, had some drinks, and like he was giving that away because he went the year before. And like the video's over, and he looks down at the card and he looks right at me, and I was like, oh shit. And he's I lost it. I was like, I almost cried up there. It's
that I will say was probably like the one public speaking moment in my life that really tested me. So I was lucky because Ben came on my show when the nominations first opened, and I like dragged it out of him because I'm super persuasive, and I was like, just tell me. And he was like, all right, Jennifer, yes, you've been nominated for Lady of the Trade. Like, now will you shut up? And so like months and months and months later, he like messaged and said, you know, you have a nomination, you got to come, like whatever. So I did, but never in a million years. I didn't even think I was going to win, and then I saw who I was up against, and those are like my girls, and like any one of us could have easily won that. So at like after the nominations were played, I honestly didn't know if I was going to win or not. And it was the first award of the night. That really like that bugged me. But I was really happy when they said my name, but at the same time, I was like looking at my girls, like I wish it was you too, you know. But
I had
sometimes.
I had a blast giving it away. Me and Colton. Besides Colton, the teleprompter thing, the look of fear in Ben's eyes when he tried moving it was like, and then I couldn't see because it was right height that I could look both ways, but then he moved that one, so I couldn't see it, so I had to stare like one side of the room the entire time.
You're like way over here.
But we had a blast.
You did great. Who wrote what was on the teleprompter? Did you guys write it yourselves?
Oh yeah, Viking wrote it all. That dude, he is an absolute machine. Like
he's so cool.
He is
like, how do you get so cool?
I don't know, and he's got a pretty cool job. But he's a really good dude. So I'm a huge fan of him. We've I talk to him pretty frequently. So, but yeah,
I haven't talked to him yet, but he's like super funny. I love his videos, and all of my students, that's like the one thing they ask. Like the younger ones, be like, "Do you know Viking?" That's like, no, I'm not that cool, actually.
Like whatever they're paying you is not enough. I was like, because you are what this industry needs to bring in younger people. You're You're
Yes.
not an old, out of shape, bald guy. I'm like, you're a good looking dude. You've got your hair. You're
Bring
not
the sexy. Yeah.
tattoos. You're cool. I was like,
Like his outfit for the awards.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
So
like,
smooth.
you are what this industry needs to get the younger people involved.
100%. 100%. If I could play one person's videos at like an event with children, that's who I would do for sure. Because they're so good. You know who else is young but really, really good is Efren Martinez.
Yes,
I love that kid
but he won't
so
take.
much.
He will not take any credit for anything himself, though. He's
No, he will not.
like I see him pop up in weird places. I heard the story about him putting up chairs at the
Yeah.
HVAC school. And then I seen he was at the he's in Vegas at the excellence thing right now, the education excellence thing right now. And I'm like, this dude's everywhere, and he's a really cool dude. He's gonna do big things.
Oh yeah, and he is literally Ben's protege.
Mm-hmm.
So he has like the best starting point you could ever have. And then on top of that, he is just miraculous in his own right. So there's just going to be like no end to it. And then as he goes, he's so young that he's just like grabbing teenagers, like, come on, let's go. He's like the teenage Pied Piper. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, those visionary guys are doing some good things for the industry. I like all those visionary guys. So that's they're pretty good. But Efron's just super quiet, and he's just
There's
like,
something about him. Like, I wish that, like, I told him, like, if you ever need a mom, I got you. You're a good kid. But yeah, the visionary. So, like, they get a bad rap, and that really bothers me. And I have figured it out. I found out why they get a bad rap. And the reason is that, like, the old heads just don't want them here. And it's so petty when it comes down to like the actual level. It's so petty that it disgusts me. So like at first, when I first heard about them, it was from people that didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, fine. I've heard about them enough. Let me go like look into this. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. What are you talking about? This is so cool. Like, what's wrong with you? And then I realized it. Like, they don't only think that women are going to take their jobs, they also think that kids are going to take their jobs. But it's like, no, you're going to retire in what, 2 years, Bartleby?
Yeah.
Like, we need techs.
well,
It's just crazy to me. Like, don't gatekeep knowledge. It's so weird.
so they have fun with it. They're not always 100% serious. They goof off.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the older guys, oh, you got to take it serious. But when it comes down to doing the work, they're serious. But they like to have fun too. So
Right.
I mean, I think showing that is great for this industry. You don't have to be
Sure.
take pride in your work and do a good job and do it right. But you can goof off and have fun in the process too.
Yeah. I've had like more fun in this job than I've ever had, and I'm a teacher, so that's like kind of saying a lot, like today I'm like Val's we were doing plumbing in the ground, right? So Val's like shoveling like dirt to like under my pipes to hold them up. And it like it's taking forever. And I'm just like staring at him. I just like burst out laughing. And I was like, move. And I just got under there and like started pushing it up. By the time we were done, we were just like head to toe mud, horrible. Like it was freezing cold mud too. Like, but it was fun, Like that's my idea of fun. It should be everybody's.
I mean, you got my vote there.
Hard
I go to work and I come home relaxed. My wife is like, this is awesome. I love what you do. People come home from work tripping and you come home chill.
Yeah. See, that's your wife though is an anomaly, Rich. She is so perfect that I don't even know how, like, I don't know how she exists at all because she's just so perfect. This woman, if you guys don't know Cece, like she has this like thirst for knowledge, but you can tell it's not just about HVAC, it's about everything. She just wants to know everything. And I think that people like that are so valuable because they really do. Like, she's one of those people that can tell you like 15 things in a conversation about things that like, nope, you've never even heard of before, and that she should have no reason for knowing them. But she does.
Pretty much.
She's just a super smart, thirsty girl, and I love the crap out of her. She's just amazing. And you and her are like the perfect complementary couple, though, I will say.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah,
You
she's
allow
out
her to be
there and
her,
I'm
she
me.
allows you to be, yeah, exactly. And it
Yeah,
works.
it takes a special person to put up with me.
Like I said to you guys like earlier, like I don't know how Val does what he does. I just genuinely have no idea. And I ask him, I'll be like, like, does this bother you? Or like, does this, is it a lot sometimes? And he's like, no, you're awesome. Go, go, go. Like today with this whole, like I was getting discouraged because I couldn't find a boarding house for this girl. And it was just like killing me. And I was on site, on the job site. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I'm just not here right now, whatever. And he's like, just hug me, and he's like, you're just amazing. Like you love her. That's awesome. Don't feel bad for that. Like just go love her. Like I don't know how anybody can be that patient, but he's like that with my kids. He's like that with our customers. Like he's just patient. That's like the number one way to describe Val. It's pretty great. Yeah,
So, have we covered everything you do? I'm not sure we covered it all.
It's only been 49 minutes. There's no way we covered everything she does, bro.
I just want to know her secret, how the hell she does all this, because I can't keep up with the stuff I got to do. So
You
So
don't
there's
watch
definitely
TV, do
more,
you? Because I try to
but
figure out how you do all this stuff.
like I said, I'm just doing all the time. I don't stop doing. And I think that that's what it is. So like a lot of people think that they don't have time, but really a lot of their time is spent like dealing with
yeah,
things. It's not spent like accomplishing things in their mind, like that everything you deal with is accomplishing it. But to them, it's like, oh, this was just a stressful situation that I had to get over to get to the thing I could accomplish. But they don't realize that accomplishing the stressful situation is one thing they accomplish. So like that's how I try to always view it. So like it's a lot and there's like a lot going on all the time, but I don't feel like exhausted by it. And I don't feel like I'm doing a lot. Like I feel like every moment of my life is spent actually living. Like there's no downtime. Like, and I'm still like, I still read every night and I do all the things that I love to do. I still fit all of that in. The visionary guys is what we need in the industry. They can show the younger generation working hard can be fun and cool, and maybe show the old guys to calm down. Yes, just work. Amen.
yep, exactly.
Amen.
That's how I feel about it. I
So
love
there
those.
is one more thing I want to tell you guys about because I'm not sure if you guys know, and I know that a lot of the public doesn't know, but it's going to be coming out the first week of April. So we were asked to design a shoe line
Oh, I seen that.
by Alive Shoes. So it has been a painful process of designing our first model because we only got to design one. So like we had to choose male or female or unisex. We had to choose every tiny little bit of this shoe. And it's an Italian leather company that we're doing it with. So making sneakers out of Italian leather is not an easy task, but we managed to do it and they came out so fire. So they're not released yet, but the first week of April, we're doing a live release party. And what I'm going to tell everybody at that live release party, first of all, they'll be going on sale that day. So the only reason that we're really doing this is because we get to keep $30 off of each pair of shoes that's sold. So that's pretty huge for a coalition that makes no money. We'll be able to put that towards hotel rooms and, bus tickets, things like that. So that's the only reason we agreed to it. But so we'll start selling them that night. Are you serious?
Yep.
Cat, you guys.
And shout out to Brian Sanders. He threw a donation in there from the audience there. So
Thank you all. Seriously, you don't even know like what you're doing. You guys are single-handedly giving somebody a future, and that is insane because I'm telling you right now, like I know you're watching, baby, but it's true, and like we need to just make sure she doesn't go back. And that's it. That's all that matters right now to me. But yeah, so anyway, so we're gonna release our female shoe first. And then I have so I like to bring my friends up with me, right? So I've actually delegated out the men's shoe line, which will be coming next. And I've delegated it out to Mr. Ben Poole of HVAC Tactical.
Nice.
So yeah, the women's shoe has the HVAChicks logo on it, and the men's shoe will have the HVAC Tactical logo on them, which will be pretty badass if you ask me.
sweet.
I'll have to go with my belt and my shirts and hats.
They're gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to see them. It took like a lot of minds and a lot of hands, but they're fire. Like I'm waiting for the prototype, and I was so happy that I get a prototype just so I can wear them. They're super cute.
How much are they going to sell for?
So right now we're trying to figure that out. Technically, the price that was like recommended to us, we get to pick initially. The price that was recommended to us was like $218 or something because they're Italian leather. So like we expected that. We're not gonna do that by any means. So we're just trying to figure out what, with our $30 profit, what is fair for the company that we worked with. So that's what we're working on right now. And that's why
when you're thinking of that price, remember my wife is going to make me buy her a pair. So just keep that in mind when you come out with that price, please.
Your wife can have the prototype, Rich. I love her. Okay. But yeah, so they are super sweet. They're super sweet. You guys are gonna love them. But yeah, they'll be affordable. They won't be super much. They won't even be as much of as a pair of boots. Like they're sneakers. You know, they're what they are. But they'll be cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we need to cover before we shut this thing down?
Ugh, I'm so sick of talking about me.
That's what you're here for, though. I mean, you're on our show, so you don't have to interview anybody. You can just talk about whatever you want to talk about, and
I know. It's
We-
been awesome to
Yeah.
use your platform though, because I don't get to like do that. I don't get to be this on this side of it a lot. So
and I want to get Ryan on. I don't know if you heard.
I was just about to say that. Tell Ryan to let us know when he's available.
yeah,
Yeah,
I will. He's in the chat. He'll come on. He would love that.
I don't know if he heard me say that. He's responsible for all the stuff I've done. So, but he really is.
If he didn't hear it, I'll make sure he does.
That's all right,
But
guys.
you guys, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for
Thank you for
letting
coming
me
on.
talk about the fundraiser. That was absolutely like the hugest push. I haven't wrapped my brain around that quite yet. So, but thank you guys. Seriously, like that's all I can say.
Well, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find the Misfits? Let's plug everything we can.
Yeah. Yes, I can do that. Okay, so you can find me, you can find my tech tips on HVAC School, HVACR You can find my articles on HVACtactical.com. You can find me on every social media outlet as HVAChicks Jennifer. That is where I am everywhere, including LinkedIn. I have a public email, jennifer@skillcatapp.com. If you guys have questions about any of the things that I do, or you want to get involved in HVAChicks, reach out, Jennifer@skillcatapp.com. And then and Misfits of HVAC. I am co-host Misfits of HVAC with Ryan Hughes. You can find us at Misfits of HVAC on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And that's about it.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, especially last minute. But
No
I hope
problem.
we raise a bunch more money for this lady out in Washington and get her taken care of. So,
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
all right. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.